All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Some stuff he sent over about the Pritzker family and all
Yeah,
their
sure.
political campaign contributions.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and, they're obviously known for Hyatt hotels and their wealth. So I guess we want to try and understand how they use all this money to
Right.
try and shape the political landscape.
Well, and the amount is just staggering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, over the last couple decades,
Oh, yeah.
it's estimated they've given hundreds of millions.
Wow.
And a huge chunk of that is just from J.B. Pritzker himself,
The governor.
the governor of Illinois.
Right, Illinois, yeah.
He put $323 million
Oh, my God.
into his 2 gubernatorial campaigns.
Wow.
So that's just one person right there.
Right. And I mean, we should really focus on him, on JB.
Mm-hmm.
And then also his sister, Penny Pritzker, who is Commerce Secretary.
Right.
And then their cousin, Jennifer Pritzker.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing that I found really interesting is they all kind of seem to
Have their own approach.
have their own approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start with JB.
Okay.
I mean, that $323 million self-funding
It's incredible.
number is just
Yeah.
staggering for state-level races.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just the size,
Yeah.
but it's also where the money goes.
Yeah.
So we saw $12.6 million go to Hillary Clinton's campaign back in 2016.
Right.
And then a massive $24 million to the DGA in 2022.
The Democratic Governors Association. Yeah.
Democratic Governors Association, that's right.
Yeah.
And that one's interesting because of how it was actually used.
Well, yeah, it seems like they were trying to influence the Republican primary in Illinois
That's right.
to try and get a weaker candidate
Yeah.
for the general election.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Trying to find the weakest link, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is he doesn't stop giving, even when he's not running. So in the most recent cycle,
Right.
he put in another $25 million.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a lot of money in Illinois
It
politics.
really shows the impact of personal wealth.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to Penny Pritzker,
Yeah.
let's see a little bit of a different approach.
Right.
She's more known for being a national fundraiser and advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Most famously, she was finance chair for Obama's 2008 campaign.
Oh, wow.
So her direct contributions were less than her brother,
Yeah.
but still substantial.
Right.
She gave over $100,000 to Democratic Party committees in the early 2010s
Yeah.
and around $188,000 to Illinois candidates over time.
Right. So it's more about leveraging connections
Right.
and that fundraising power
Yeah,
is at the federal level
Yeah,
than just writing those massive checks herself.
exactly. And looking at the sources, it seems that she
Yeah.
almost exclusively gives to Democrats,
Yeah. That's what it seemed like.
which is why Jennifer Pritzker is such an interesting case.
Yeah.
So at first, she was a big-time Republican donor.
Yeah.
She gave well over 7 figures to GOP candidates,
Wow.
including $250,000 to Trump in 2016.
So she's like the outlier of the family.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But then around 2019, things changed pretty dramatically.
Right.
LGBTQ issues became very important to her,
Right.
and she switched to supporting Democrats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So she completely changed her.
Yeah, she ended up giving $2 million to Biden in 2020.
Wow. That's a big change.
Yeah, I mean, that shows you how certain issues can really reshape somebody's political giving.
Right.
But another interesting thing
Yeah.
is that she gave $500,000 to the No campaign
Oh, wow.
against the Illinois Fair Tax Amendment in 2020,
So going directly against her cousin, JB.
going directly against her cousin, JB, right?
Oh,
So, even in a family that's mostly politically aligned, there can still be some pretty big disagreements.
yeah, that's fascinating.
And like you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
there are other family members that give as well.
Right, like Linda Pritzker gave over $1.1 million.
Exactly.
And then Nick and John, they seem to mostly support Democrats as well.
Right. So overall,
Yeah.
the family really leans toward the Democrats.
It seems like almost all of their federal contributions go to Democrats.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it's interesting how they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, some goes to candidate committees.
Right, like JB's own campaigns.
Exactly.
Right.
Some goes to party committees like the DGA and the DNC.
Mm-hmm.
And then some also goes to PACs and super PACs.
Now, what are those again?
So PACs and super PACs are political action committees,
Okay.
but they have different rules about how much money they can raise and spend.
Oh, okay.
And then they also give to ballot initiatives.
Like the fair tax.
Like the fair tax, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So they've really got all the bases covered.
So what do you think the impact of all this giving has been?
Well, I mean, for one thing, JB's self-funding
Right.
really shows how much personal wealth can change a campaign.
Yeah.
And it's actually made him an advocate for campaign finance reform.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he thinks there should be some changes.
Mm.
And then, the DGA spending in that Republican primary,
Right.
that was a pretty strategic move.
Yeah.
And then you have the fair tax battle, which was basically billionaire versus billionaire.
Right.
And it just goes to show you that even spending huge amounts of money doesn't guarantee you'll win.
Right. It's not always decisive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And because they give so much,
Yeah.
the Pritzkers are some of the biggest political donors in the country.
Wow.
And especially in Illinois, you have to wonder if all that money is making it harder for Republicans to compete.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So basically, the Pritzker family shows how much influence wealth can buy,
Mm-hmm.
mostly for Democrats.
Yeah.
They use all sorts of strategies and sometimes get different results.
Yeah. Very interesting stuff.
It really is. And it makes you think, with the Pritzkers giving so much money in so many ways,
Yeah.
what does that mean for the future of American democracy?
Right.
I mean, how much influence should wealthy people have?
Yeah.
And how will that affect who gets elected and what policies get made?
Definitely something to think about.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive
Yeah.
into the Pritzker family's political spending.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.